Well, I'm delighted to be talking today with Rebecca Stevenson. Rebecca is Northern Ireland Policy Officer for CARE. Rebecca, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to talk about the issue of abortion in Northern Ireland, but before we do that, I wonder if you would just want to explain to our viewers your role at CARE and what your work involves.
I'm the Northern Ireland Policy Officer for CARE, which means I have quite a large policy remit with CARE. So I cover everything from gambling related harm to abortion to assisted suicide, basically all the areas that CARE is involved with. And so whether that is working with MLAs or lobbying the Assembly, that's kind of what my role involves.
Well, those watching in Northern Ireland will be well aware what's happened in relation to abortion in recent weeks and months. But could you summarise developments for our viewers in the rest of the UK?
Absolutely. So in March of this year, 2021, we had the abortion 2021 regulations, which were issued from Westminster. And this basically allowed the Secretary of State to step in and impose the commissioning of abortion services in Northern Ireland. So he was allowed to step in and force the Minister for Health to commission abortion services. And obviously, this is quite a significant change. There are constitutional issues, and it's it's an unprecedented decision by Westminster.
And why have abortion services not been commissioned so far in Northern Ireland? What are the reasons behind that decision?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. So the secretary or the Minister for Health, Robin Swan, believes that under the ministerial code that is a decision that needs to go before Stormont, so that it's a highly contentious issue, and under the ministerial code that would need to go through a vote through Stormont. And then there is the issue over expense. So abortion services were introduced by Westminster. And I think that the 2021 regulations does make provision for the cost involved, but up until those regulations emerged, there was a lack of clarity over who would pay for the commissioning of abortion services.
So, what difference would it make practically if the UK government requires the commissioning of abortion in Northern Ireland?
At the moment, up until we had the 2020 abortion regulations, abortion was illegal in Northern Ireland. So that decriminalised it. So up until that point, only in very exceptional circumstances were you able to get an abortion in Northern Ireland. Now, with the regulations that as they are, without commissioning of services, I think there's been approximately 1,800 abortions in Northern Ireland, and it's only in the case of early termination, so up to 10 weeks, I believe. But with full commissioning of abortion services in Northern Ireland, women can access abortion up to 12 weeks, up to 24 weeks, where there's mental health issues, and up to term in cases of what's classified as a fetal abnormality. So that includes Down syndrome, that includes cleft palate and clubfoot. To put that in context, those are the most permissive abortion laws in the UK. So it would mean that Northern Ireland would have a really open abortion option, and it could mean that a significant number of children are aborted.
So, where does public opinion within Northern Ireland stand on all of this?
Well, I mean, this is obviously a very emotive and contentious issue. But when the Northern Ireland office did a poll in Northern Ireland, I believe in 2019, about about changing the abortion laws, over 70% of people said that they were opposed to changing abortion laws. So obviously, with Christians in Northern Ireland, we don't want to see this change happen. But as I said, when the Northern Ireland office polled, the majority of people who responded to that poll indicated that they did not want abortion services to change in Northern Ireland.
And what about the role of the media? I mean, how is this issue presented in the media in Northern Ireland? And for that matter, how is the pro-life position presented in the media in Northern Ireland?
So we are concerned that in the media at the moment, the portrayal of abortion fails to take account of a balanced view of abortion. The BBC recently aired a drama called Three Families, and this drama followed the story of three women who faced unplanned and crisis pregnancies and sought abortion. And the portrayal was very negative. It failed to take account of a pro-life opinion, and it depicted pro-life as protests outside abortion centres and very stereotypical comments. And I think that's unhelpful. Pro-life is not about preventing women from receiving access to medical care. It's about offering women alternative choices to choose life.
So how are pro-life politicians in Northern Ireland responding to these developments?
So we've had some wonderful responses from pro-life politicians. I think one of the best examples I can give is Paul Given, who introduced the severe fetal impairment abortion amendment legislation into the Northern Ireland Assembly. And this was to amend a small section of the 2020 regulations, which allowed for abortion up to term in the cases of fetal abnormalities such as Down syndrome or cleft palate or clubfoot. So we've had a really positive response from pro-life MLAs who are really out there taking a stand and stepping up for the lives of children.
Just one final question to you then. How should Christians be praying about all of this?
I think it would be really important to, first of all, pray for women who find themselves in crisis pregnancies. I think it's really important that they are met with compassion and love and shown that there is a better alternative than abortion. And then I think we need to pray for our MLAs, especially with regards to the wider constitutional issues around the 2021 regulations. These guys need wisdom and they need strength to stand up to Westminster and to know the best course of action to take.
Well, Rebecca, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for joining us today. For more on this issue and many more, do take a look at our website, christian.org.uk. But for now, goodbye and God bless.